My boyfriend thinks we're losing our V cards together, but I gave up my baby for adoption when I was 16. Weston planned everything for next weekend. He booked a bed and breakfast in the mountains and even made a playlist called Our Special Night. He gets this dopey smile whenever he talks about waiting for the perfect moment. I just smile back and die a little inside. We met at a bookstore cafe 8 months ago. He was reading philosophy, and I made a Nietzsche joke that made him spill his latte. When he asked about past relationships, I said I'd been focused on school and never found the right person. He said the same and even called us soulmates on our third date. Weston is 23 and believes in all the romantic movie stuff. He writes letters, plans elaborate dates, and last month spent hours learning to cook my favorite childhood meal. He would have been perfect if I'd met him before everything. When I was 16, I had a baby. His name was Sammy. I held him for 10 minutes before the nurses took him to his adoptive parents. I chose them from a binder. They had a golden retriever. Sometimes I wonder if Sammy likes dogs or if he inherited my allergies. It was a closed adoption, so I'll never know. My mom helped me hide the pregnancy. I wore hoodies and said I was stress eating. After Sammy was born, I transferred schools and deleted social media. It was easier to be the quiet girl who never dated than explain why I was gone for a month or why I pumped breast milk between classes. After 6 months, Weston started hinting about sex. He'd pull away from making out and joke about cold showers. I played along, acting shy. He thought it was sweet that we were both nervous about our first time. He said he was glad we could figure it out together without pressure. The guilt got worse when I met his family. His mom pulled me aside at Thanksgiving and thanked me for being a good influence. She said his last girlfriend pressured him, and she was glad Weston found someone who respected boundaries. I nodded and helped her make pie while thinking about my stretch marks. It all started crumbling when his sister had a baby. Weston held his nephew so gently, then later talked about how our kids would have cousins close in age. He had our future mapped out, and I couldn't breathe. The lies stacked up. I laughed at virgin jokes. I pretended to be embarrassed about birth control. I acted like articles about making the first time special were news to me. Every lie was another brick in a wall between us. I almost confessed once. We were watching a movie where the girl lies about her past, and Weston ranted about how honesty was everything in a relationship. He said he could forgive anything except being lied to about something important. Then he kissed me and said he was lucky to have someone who understood. I cried in my car for hours. My therapist tells me to be honest, but Weston isn't just anyone. He makes me feel like I could be more than the girl who gave up her baby. He looks at me like I'm special, pure, worth waiting for. Telling him the truth would ruin everything. 2 weeks ago, it got worse. Weston started planning our trip in detail, researching bed comfort, even asking my ring size under the guise of helping his sister. I knew he was thinking about proposing after we slept together. Then I saw Sammy's adoptive mom at Target. She had him with her. He was 3, with my nose and his birth father's hair. He was roaring at a toy dinosaur. She didn't recognize me. I hid in the bathroom and threw up. That night, Weston noticed I was quiet. He made my favorite dinner and asked what was wrong. I said I was stressed about work. He suggested moving our trip up to help me relax. The more caring he was, the worse I felt. I started pulling back, stalling. Weston thought it was sweet I wanted our first time to be extra special. He researched romantic gestures and filled his browser with guides on making a partner comfortable. Yesterday, it almost came out. Weston showed me the honeymoon suite he booked, then pulled out a notebook full of ideas to make me feel safe. The last line said, "Remind her that sharing this together makes it more special." I broke down crying. He held me, saying we could wait, that there was no pressure, that he just wanted me happy. He thought I was overwhelmed by romance. He didn't know I was mourning the moment he'd built up. "I need to tell you something," I whispered. He pulled back, brushed my hair behind my ear, and said I could tell him anything, that nothing would change how he felt. He believed it too, because in his mind, the worst I could say was that I'd kissed someone before him. Then my phone rang. It was my mom. She was crying and said Sammy's adoptive parents wanted medical history because he needed some tests. Nothing serious, but they thought I should know. I hung up. Weston asked if everything was okay. I said I needed to go home. He offered to drive me, but I told him I needed space. As I left, he grabbed my hand and reminded me about our trip next weekend. He said he couldn't wait to share that experience with me. I sat in my car for an hour trying to figure out how to tell him. How do you explain the moment he's dreaming of already happened years ago in a hospital room with a child he doesn't know exists? How do you tell him his playlist will play while you pretend something that stopped being true long before you met? This morning, Weston texted me a countdown. 5 days until we take the next step in our journey together, followed by 15 heart emojis. Then another text came through that stopped my heart. My mom wants to have a private lunch with you tomorrow. She says she has something important to discuss about my future with you. Full story on channel link below.